So let me share my screen and we'll get started here. All right, so we talked about last time, we talked about the idea of like, if I asked you what is like 5 times 4, and you would tell me that that is 20.
Yeah.
And then we talked about what if it's 0.5 times 4? Well, it's 20, but then you move the decimal left one because you have one decimal here, one decimal place. So it ends up being 2.0. And so I gave you a few other problems. I would say, well, what is like 0.3 times 6? Could you try calculating that for us?
18.
Well, 3 times 6 is 18, but it's 0.3, 0.3 times 6. You have to move that decimal, right? You have to move that decimal over to the left one.
So if there's like a point in 0.3 times 6, it goes to the left.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You're essentially counting the number of decimal places that you have.
Yeah.
So it would be 1.8.
Okay.
All right, so let's try another one here. How about 0.7 times 6? No, we've been doing 6. Let's do 2. So 0.7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. So 0.7 times 2, you have to move that decimal place.
1.4.
Yeah, it becomes 1.4. Good. All right. So then we moved on to some harder questions. I said, well, what if they are both decimals? Like, what is 0.9 times 0.4? And we talked about, okay, if it's 9 times 4, 9 times 4 is
36.
36. But because you have 2 decimal places, you have to move that decimal back 2 times.
Oh.
So it becomes 0.36.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have you try one here. Let's say it's 0.5 times let's go 3.
Okay, I got my answer.
What is your answer?
0.15.
0.15, perfect. All right, very good. Okay. So it looks like you've got a new lesson here that I guess we'll talk about. It's called, I guess you already did that. I'm just looking at your problems here. Okay, yeah, this is good. All right, so let's say I asked you to take the number 4.6 and multiply it by 10. Do you have any idea what this becomes when you multiply it by 10?
No.
Okay, so it actually becomes right over 4. I'm sorry, it becomes 46. Okay, and then if we take 4.6 and multiply by 100, this becomes 460. And 4.6 times 1,000 becomes 4600. Do you notice anything happening on the right?
Yeah.
What do you?
There starts with 0. On the first one, 6.6 times 10. There's no 0 at the end, and then the 100. The second one is 460, and then the 1,000 has 2 zeros at the end?
Yeah, so here's the rule. The rule is for every 0, move the decimal right. For every 0, move the decimal to the right.
Okay.
All right, now let's look at this first one, 4.6 times 10. How many zeros are there in the 10?
1.
1. So you take that 4.6 and you move the decimal to the right one. And that's why it becomes 46. 4.6 times 100, there are 2 zeros. So you move the decimal to the right 2 times. And notice you put a 0 in wherever there's one that's missing.
Mhm.
Okay, now for the last one, there are 3 zeros. So you move the decimal to the right 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And for each of these, and I think of these like if you have an egg carton, think of these as like places where you put the egg. Okay, so let's look at another example here. So let's look at 0.25 times 10. So you move that decimal to the right for every 0 you have. So there's 1 0, so you can move it to the right 1 time. So this becomes 2.5. 0.25 times 100. So there are 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros. So you move that decimal to the right 2 times. For 0.25 times 1,000, you move the decimal to the right 3 times. So you go 1, 2, 3. Now this one's got an empty position. So you fill that in with a 0 and the decimal goes there. So this becomes 250. So this question is for you, Zoe. If we multiply by 10,000,
Mhm.
what does the new number become?
4 zeros.
There's 4 zeros, but what's the final answer?
2.
You're moving it right 4 times.
So it's 25,000? Or no?
25,000 is got one more 0. This is 2,500.
So 25,000.
No, this is 2,500.
Oh, 2,500.
Yes. Okay, so let's do another problem here after you get this down. We'll work on it together. All right, so let's say it's 19.5 times 10. 19.5 times 10. So how many decimal places to the right are we going to move the decimal?
1.
1 to the right. So it moves right there. And this becomes this number right here. Now, could you say that number out loud for us?
195.
195 or 195, good. And then we'll go 19.5 times 100. How many places to the right does this move the decimal?
2.
2. So you make these little egg forms right there, and then put a 0 wherever it's missing. So it becomes 1950.
How do you guys call this one 1950 or do you guys?
There's two ways. Yeah, you can say 1950, or you can say 1950. You can also just read the digits 1950, but that's not completely correct. Okay, so I want you to try multiplying by 1,000 here. And tell me what you come up with, please.
I have one question for this.
Yeah.
Do you have to start the decimal point on the 19th point?
Yes, you start there. So that's 0. 0 is where the decimal point is. And then when you go to the right, that's 1. You go to the right again, that's 2. Then you go to right again, and that's 3.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so what is your final answer here?
19,050.
So that so he yeah, so you got to be careful because you probably had the right numbers and yeah. Okay. Let's have you try one on your own here. Let's have you try 0.51 times 1,000.
I need help with this one.
Okay, so how many places are you going to move the decimal to the right?
3.
3. So you take that number, 0.51, and you move it 1, 2, and then 3. And then what do you fill? What do you do in the missing spaces?
0.
0. So this becomes 510. You could put the decimal point if you wanted, but it's not necessary. Okay, let's try another one here. Let's say it's 2.3 times 100. Do you have an answer for me, Zoe?
No,
Okay, how many places are you moving the decimal to the right?
2.
2. So you go 1 and then 2. And then what do you put in that missing position?
0.
Okay, so the digits left over, 2, 3, and 0.
Mm,
Decimal point is over here. What is that number?
230.
Sure. Yeah, that's perfect.
Wait, I have one question about this one.
Yeah.
Wait, do we have to multiply 2.3 or do we just have to put it to the side and then
You
after?
you can do it wherever you want. You can work on the problem to the right, below it, it doesn't matter.
But do we have to work on it? Is it like
What do you mean by that?
can we like just like put 2.3 and then do the
Yeah,
0?
yeah, you got to move you got to move the zero, you got to move the decimal over. And you can do it wherever you want. Like, I guess I don't understand what you're asking. I know some of the problems I work to the right,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. I moved into the right because I was trying to show you the pattern.
Oh, okay.
That was it. But so let's try another one here. The only way to get good at these is just keep practicing. How about 0.403 times 100? Give that a try, please.
Okay, I got my answer, but I don't know.
Okay, so how many times to the right did you move the decimal?
2.
2. So there's 1, and then there's 2. So see how it goes between the 0 and the 3?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that number? How do you say that number?
40.3.
Good. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try another. Got to have a little more confidence in your answers. You can do this. Okay, so 0.125 times 10,000.
I got one more question.
Yes.
Do you have do you need a does the 0 just like do
You
we
count
count about the 0 or do we just
you count all the zeros. How many zeros are there?
4?
4 zeros. So you move it to the right 4 times.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, what is your final answer?
1,250.
Are these the numbers you wrote?
Yeah, but I put the point on the one, between the
Like-
1 and the 2.
Okay, but you're moving the decimal. The decimal is what's moving, not, because if that's true, then your answer is 1.250.
Yeah.
So you're moving your, Zoe, you're moving your decimal. The decimal is moving once, then you move it again, twice, then you move it again, 3, then you move it again, 4. Your decimal is here at the end on the right. So you're moving the decimal. It doesn't stop the first time you move it. You keep moving it over.
Okay.
Is that still unclear?
I just had a little problem with the 0.125.
Okay, so let's try another one here. Let's say it's 57 times 100. So notice that there is no decimal point, but you have to write it in. You have to write the decimal there. You have to put a decimal there. And now you're going to move it which way?
To the right.
To the right, always to the right. Do you have an answer for me, Zoe?
Um, wait, I just have something happen.
So you're moving it right. Right 1, right 2.
Sorry, something just happened because my dad just called and then just
Okay.
I just can't see your screen. It's just
Oh, I
yeah.
see. Well, that's okay. We're at a good stopping point here. So why don't you go ahead and just close out and let your brother know that we're ready to go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, what happened?
Hello.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good.
You excited for Halloween?
No.
No? Are you the only kid in the world that doesn't like candy?
No.
You don't like candy?
Yeah.
Or are you the odd kid that loves your fruits and vegetables?
Yeah. Kinda.
Kinda. I mean, I like fruits and vegetables too, but when I was a kid, I loved candy. I mean, that's part of being a kid. You get to try new things, see what you like, peanut butter, chocolate. Nothing?
No. I do
Nothing.
like peanut butter and chocolate.
Okay. Do you like ice cream? Do you like,
I like ice cream.
well, there's always an alternative. So that's good. Just looking up your, yeah, your math homework here. And looks like you're finally up to some of the division stuff that we've been doing together here. Let me pull up some problems and see what you guys are doing, and then I'll share my screen. Okay, good. All right, yeah. So let's try a problem here. So do you have your notebook out with some paper?
Yes.
Okay. So we've been doing this a bunch. It's just we're gonna eventually get it. You're gonna, and this is an important skill to have. So I'll lead you through it. You always start with that number on the outside. You say, how many times does 4 go into 9? How many times does 4 go into 9?
Uh, 1.
So your teacher has like the way they've been showing you in the classroom is they use these blocks, right? There's 4 blocks, and then there's another 4 blocks, and then there's 9. So this is 4, and this is 4. And I'm really asking you, how many 4s do you have? How many 4s do you see, Michael?
2.
2. There's 2 4s. And 2 times 4, what does that equal?
8.
8. Okay, sorry, that doesn't go there. So 2 times 4 is 8. So the 2 goes up above the 9. The number of times, the number of times that 4 goes into 9 is 2. The 2 goes above the 9. 2 times 4 is 8. And then you subtract. What is 9 minus 8?
1.
1. And then you bring this 17 down.
Sorry.
Let me know when you're ready for us to start again.
1.
So you bring the 1 down, or it's 1, and then you bring the 7 down. Are you able to see my screen, Michael?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So now you ask a new question. You say, how many times does 4 go into 17?
Uh,
And you're not
3.
guessing. You're not guessing. Like I feel like you're just guessing. So in class, you would say, okay, this is 4. And then here's another 4. And then here's another 4. How many am I up to? How many squares?
3.
Nope. You're counting the squares. How many squares do you see here? 4, 4, 4. How many is that?
16.
Nope. You're counting the squares, Michael. Just counting them. 4, and then 4 more, and then 4 more.
11.
You're just counting, Michael. You're just counting. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. Just count.
12.
12, right? So there's 4. There's another 4. And there's another 4. And you're like, all right, that's 12. I'm not up to 17 yet. So here's another 4. How many are you at total now if you have 4 4s?
16.
16. So 1 more gets you to 17. So you're asking how many of the 4s go into 17? How many 4s do you have?
4.
4. So that comes up here above the 7. And then 4 times 4 is 16. And when you subtract, what do you get? What is your leftover?
1.
Yeah. And that's your remainder. So you write remainder of 1. Okay, so let's do it again here. Let's do another problem here. Do you have these notes down on your paper?
Uh, internet isn't going well.
Are you able to connect to some Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, done.
Okay. So let's try a new problem here. $83 divided by 6. You start by asking yourself, how many times does 6 go into 8? So here's 6. There's 6 blocks there. And here's 8. 8 is 2 more. So how many 6s can you get in 8?
One.
Yeah, 1. And so you can do some things. You can like fill those in. But yeah, you get 1 6. What is 1 times 6, Michael?
6.
So you put that 6 under the 8 and then you subtract.
3.
What is 8 minus 6?
2.
2. 2, and then you bring the 3 down. So now it's a new question. How many times does 6 go into 23? Okay, now this takes a while, but you could actually draw the 23 squares, but I think it's better to go 6 at a time. Okay, so you start with 6. There's 6 right there. So we know it's at least 1. Okay, and let's do another 6. How many total blocks do we have now?
12.
12, and 12 is smaller than 23, so we keep going. Let's add another 6. How many 6s do we have now?
18.
18. 18 total blocks. So that's 6, 12, 18. So let's do another 6. Now what are we up to?
23.
No. Try again.
24.
24. Good. Now that's too large. Do you see that? So it's not 4 times, right? And here's 1 6, and then you got 2, and then you got 3, and then you got 4. So 24 is too large. So you have to go back to the previous one. So how many 6s go into 23? How many complete 6s? Did you say 3?
Yes.
Yes, there's 3. And then 3 times 6 is
18.
18. So now you subtract. What is 23 minus 18?
Six.
Nope, try again. Do you have an answer for me, Michael?
Uh, 4,
Nope, try again. Do you have an answer for me, Michael? Michael, let me know when you're back. Do you have an answer for me?
2,
I'm sorry?
2,
What? Okay, so what two numbers am I asking you to subtract?
23 minus 16.
Yes. And you could at least count up from 18. You can just count up to this number. So I want you to count up from 18 to 23. And how many times do you have to count to get to 23? You can count out loud, Michael. That would also be good to do. That way I can help you keep track.
Four,
Okay, so let's start at 18. What's the next number after 18?
19,
Okay, so that's 1. What's the next number after 19?
20,
Okay, so that's 2. What's the next number after 20?
21,
Okay, so that's 3. What's the next number after 21?
22,
Okay, that's 4. What's the next number after 22?
23,
Okay, and what does that equal? What does that count up to? What's the next number?
5,
5. So 23 minus 18 is 5. Okay, so in terms of our problem, that means there's a remainder of 5. Okay, let's try some subtraction problems here. See if we can spend a few minutes on that. Let's go 41 minus 37. Could you try that for me and using the counting method we just tried? Michael, are you counting up from 37?
yes,
Okay. So that starting number is like 0. 38 would be 1. 39 would be 2, and so on. I don't think you're, Michael, you're muted. I don't think you're trying the method that we talked about. Sorry, say that again.
3,
Are you counting? What's the next number after 39? I'm sorry?
40,
No. After 39 comes, the 3 goes to a 4. 40, and that's 3. And then are you up to 41 yet?
yes.
No, you're not. You're not up to 41. You haven't written it. You're counting as you go. So Michael, the way this goes is you start at 37, you say, okay, 38 is 1, 39 is 2, 40 is 3, 41 is 4. That's your final answer. Let's try another one. 55 minus 49. Try this counting approach again. 49 corresponds to 0. Do you have an answer for me, Michael?
5,
Are you, did you count all the way up to 55?
yes.
Okay, you can keep track with your fingers, you can write it down. 50 would be 1. What would 51 correspond to down here? 2. 52 corresponds to 3. 53 corresponds to 4. 54 corresponds to 5. Is 55 the same as 54? No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going to 55, and that's 6. So this equals 6. All right, we're going to end here for today for our lesson. We'll keep working on this on Wednesday, and hope you have a great couple of days. I'll see you then.